Hello, this is day 69 of reading one canto of the Divine Comedy every day. We are on Paradiso, Canto 2, which I'll read from the Longfellow translation before giving some quick comments. O ye, who in some pretty little boat, eager to listen, have been following behind my ship that singing sails along, turn back to look again upon your shores. Do not put out to sea, lest, peradventure in losing me, you might yourselves be lost. The sea I sail has never yet been passed. Minerva breathes, and pilots me Apollo, and Muses 9 point out to me the bears. Ye other few, who have the neck uplifted betimes to the bread of angels upon which one liveth here and grows not sated by it, well may you launch upon the deep salt sea your vessel, keeping still my wake before you upon the water that grows smooth again. Those glorious ones who unto Colchos passed were not so wonderstruck as you shall be, when Jason they beheld a ploughman made. The concreated and perpetual thirst for the realm deiform did bear us on, as swift almost as ye the heavens behold. Upward gazed Beatrice, and I at her, and in such space perchance as strikes a bolt and flies, and from the notch unlocks itself, arrived I saw me where a wondrous thing drew to itself my sight, and therefore she, from whom no care of mine could be concealed, toward me turning, blithe as beautiful, said unto me, Fix gratefully thy mind on God, who unto the first star has brought us. It seemed to me a cloud encompassed us, luminous, dense, consolidate, and bright as adamant on which the sun is striking. Into itself did the eternal pearl receive us, even as water doth receive a ray of light, remaining still unbroken. If I was body, and we here conceive not how one dimension tolerates another, which needs must be if body enter body, more the desire should be enkindled in us that essence to behold, wherein is seen how God and our own nature were united. There will be seen what we receive by faith, not demonstrated, but self-evident in guise of the first truth that man believes. I made reply, Madonna, as devoutly as most I can do, I give thanks to him who has removed me from the mortal world. But tell me, what the dusky spots may be upon this body, which below on earth make people tell that fabulous tale of Cain. Somewhat she smiled, and then, if the opinion of mortals be erroneous, she said, wherever the key of sense doth not unlock, certes, the shafts of wonder should not pierce thee now, forasmuch as, following the senses, thou seest that the reason has short wings. But tell me what thou thinkest of it thyself. And I, what seems to us up here diverse, is caused, I think, by bodies rare and dense. And she, right truly shalt thou see immersed in error thy belief, if well thou hearest the argument that I shall make against it. Lights many the eighth sphere displays to you, which in their quality and quantity may noted be of aspects different. If this were caused by rare and dense alone, one only virtue would there be in all, or more or less diffused, or equally. Virtues diverse must be perforce the fruits of formal principles, and these, save one, of course would by thy reasoning be destroyed. Besides, if rarity were of this dimness the cause thou askest, either through this planet thus attenuate were of matter, or else, as in a body is apportioned the fat and lean, so in like manner this would in its volume interchange the leaves. Were it the former, in the sun's eclipse it would be manifest by the shining through of light, as through aught tenuous interfused. This is not so. Hence we must scan the other, and if it chance the other I demolish, then falsified will thy opinion be. But if this rarity go not through and through, there needs must be a limit, beyond which its contrary prevents the further passing, and thence the foreign radiance is reflected, even as a colour cometh back from glass, the which behind itself concealeth lead. Now thou wilt say the sunbeam shows itself more dimly there than in the other parts, by being there reflected farther back. From this reply, experiment will free thee if ever thou try it, which is wont to be the fountain to the rivers of your arts. 3 mirrors shalt thou take, and 2 remove alike from thee. The other more remote between the former 2 shall meet thine eyes. Turned towards these, cause that behind thy back be placed a light, illuming the 3 mirrors and coming back to thee by all reflected. Though in its quantity be not so ample the image most remote, There shalt thou see how it perforce is equally resplendent. Now, as beneath the touches of warm rays, naked the subject of the snow remains both of its former color and its cold, thee thus remaining in thy intellect will I inform with such a living light, that it shall trample in its aspect to thee. Within the heaven of the divine repose revolves a body, in whose virtue lies the being of whatever it contains. The following heaven, that has so many eyes, divides this being by essences diverse, distinguished from it, and by it contained. The other spheres, by various differences, all the distinctions which they have within them, dispose unto their ends and their effects. Thus do these organs of the world proceed, as thou perceivest now, from grade to grade, since from above they take and act beneath. Observe me well, how through this place I come unto the truth thou wishest, that hereafter thou mayest alone know how to keep the ford, the power and motion of the holy spheres, as from the artisan the hammer's craft, forth from the blessed motors must proceed. The heaven which lights so manifold make fair, from the intelligence profound which turns it, the image takes and makes of it a seal. And even as the soul within your dust, through members different and accommodated to faculties diverse, expands itself, so likewise this intelligence diffuses its virtue, multiplied among the stars, itself revolving on its unity. Virtue diverse doth a diverse alloyage make with the precious body that it quickens, in which, as life in you, it is combined. From the glad nature whence it is derived, the mingled virtue through the body shines, even as gladness through the living pupil. From this proceeds whatever from light to light appeareth different, not from dense and rare. This is the formal principle that produces, according to its goodness, dark and bright. Yeah, this is hard stuff. And Dante warns us at the beginning of this chapter, again, that, you might get lost in this. If you're following me, you might yourself be lost. If you lose me, as I'm going where I'm sailing to by divine inspiration without necessarily understanding it, if you lose me, you yourself will be lost at sea. That is definitely true. It can be so easy to lose sight of what is being said and its significance and understanding of it, that we might be tempted to abandon the whole enterprise altogether, to look up the spark notes or whatever. But we're not going to do that. We're going to keep moving forward. There's two concepts that were touched on both in this canto and the one prior that together make it a little bit easier to understand the conversation between Dante and Beatrice in this canto. The first concept is the idea that each thing in the universe shines with God's light, according to which its own nature allows it to. With things that are perfect, like souls in heaven, that's going to mean that certain souls are filled more or less with God's light and love, but regardless of the absolute differences, they are both completely full of Him. But the argument made at the beginning of Paradiso 1 is that God's light shines throughout the whole universe, not just through heaven, that everything reflects its light according to its, not just its capacity, but according to its own nature. Sort of leads us to the second concept, which is each thing will, by God's will, move to the place where it will shine its best, where it will do what it is supposed to do. Some examples from nature, from the natural world, are used to explain this, like something that is more buoyant, floating on the surface of water, or a rock descending into the water, same thing. If you follow me this far, those two concepts kind of help us understand what's being talked about in this canto. As Dante and Beatrice ascend up from the earth, their first stop is the moon. Now, I found this picture here, which will help explain kind of where we're coming from and where we're going. Remember, Dante's solar system is geocentric, and so we're going to be starting on Earth and moving slowly outward through greater and greater concentric spheres. And Dante asks, why are there some dark spots on the moon? Simple enough question. And Beatrice's response, I'll admit, I did not grasp the entirety of it, but she slaps down the idea that some parts of the moon are more dense than others, or that some parts of it are transparent, and instead turns towards these two principles that I pointed to. And she uses those two concepts to explain how some stars, or some planets, can shine more or less brightly than others, even though God's light fills all of them. In fact, I thought it was easiest to understand what she was getting at the very end of the canto in the Mark Musa translation, which I'll share with you so that you can too. As the soul within your living dust diffuses through your body's different parts, adapted to its various faculties, just so does this intelligence, God, God's will, God's light, unfold its bounty which the stars have multiplied while turning ever in its unity. Different virtues mingle differently with each rich stellar body that they quicken, even as the soul within you blends with you. True to the glad nature from which it flows, this blended virtue shines throughout that body as happiness shines forth through living eyes, and from this virtue, not from dense and rare, derive those differences of light we see. This is the formal principle that gives, according to its virtue, dark and light. Let's take her analogy. We are souls in a body, right? And it is that soul, throughout our body that gives each part of the body its powers. Our fingers are not intelligent. No, it's not suited for that. But the brain, that's suited to receive intelligence. So there it goes. But the finger and the hand has other gifts that the soul imparts to it, according to its own nature to receive it. Perhaps we could say that each organ in the body serves life in a different way. The nature of each thing as God interacts with it makes it appear differently, makes it shine or not shine differently. And not only can we see this with the heavenly bodies that Dante is investigating here, where some shine greater than others, we can kind of see this with the souls that we've seen so far as well. The souls in hell, for example, wanted nothing to do with God's light, and so they are both physically and metaphorically underground, where it can't reach them. They've chosen a place with a physical barrier between them and the light. But what's the point of this? Is this just a whole discourse of medieval pseudoscience from Dante here? Well, maybe. But we can take it to be an explanation of the souls that we're going to meet here in heaven. Some will shine differently than others, even though they're all full, even though they're all in heaven, even though they're all among the blessed. And as we start to meet them, we can understand how it's possible for each one to be in its proper place, each one to be perfect, and yet for them each to still be different. That's all for today then. I'll see you tomorrow.